Hey guys, this is Stephanie with Empower Physical Therapy, and I'm so excited to introduce you guys to Massage Now. They have a really awesome place. I've been to it, and I can't wait for you guys to learn more about it. Today we have Sherilyn, who runs the whole place, and she has actually a really awesome story as well. So I can't wait for you guys to get to know her. So why don't we just start? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so hi, thank you so much for having me. So my story it's a long story, but to summarize it, about 10 years ago now, which I can't believe it's been that long, I was diagnosed with endometriosis and kind of went on a whole journey. Did Lupron, which is induced menopause, was on every pill. Then eventually had to get on anxiety and depression medication. So by the time I was 26, which was about 4 years later, I was taking 10 pills a day. And I was living in San Francisco and I had a headache every day, and I was just existing. I was surviving. And it wasn't until I heard a podcast, actually, and it was a fashion podcast because I was working in fashion, and I had heard, food can really impact your life and all of that great information. But at the time, I just was not ready to hear it. My main food groups were bread and cheese, and I was not willing to give those up.
Yeah. There.
Right. From Texas. So chips and quesos, like a main food group. I heard the fashion podcast, and they had a holistic nutritionist on, and she had endometriosis, and she had gone through this whole healing process through food and lifestyle. And I think because I had a connection with her from her also starting in the fashion industry and kind of having endometriosis and having similar backstories, I was like, I want to know this person, and I want to see if she thinks she can help me. So I started working with her, and 3 months, I think I worked with her for 3 months. And at the end of the 3 months, I was off all 10 pills. I was no longer suffering from depression, no longer suffering from anxiety. My endometriosis pain was drastically improved. I also had PCOS. There was no more cysts on my ovaries. I didn't have headaches anymore. Like everything just improved from adjusting my food. And it was not an easy journey. Like I think the first day I went to Whole Foods and built this really big green salad and took my first bite and just gagged. Like my husband was like, "You are being so dramatic." But it was just that my taste buds weren't used to it. And now I crave a big green salad. Like your taste buds change and all of that stuff, but it definitely takes time and getting used to it. And then incorporating different lifestyle things like infrared sauna to decrease inflammation and to sweat out toxins, and massage for lymphatic activation, and same thing, detoxification and just maintenance on the body. Like we store so much in our body, and I had so much stored trauma just from being sick for 7 years that massage was a huge part of my healing journey. And so I left San Francisco, I left fashion, I went back to nutrition school, learned everything I could about nutrition, and opened up my own coaching business, and helped quite a few women figure out their healing journey. And then eventually opened my own space in Sacramento, which I had until March of 2020, COVID, but it was a holistic healing center, and it had infrared sauna, massage therapy, holistic nutrition, and a little retail shop full of all natural products. Then COVID hit, I moved back home. Texas is home for me, to be closer to family. And when I saw that the Now, who I had been following for a really long time, they're based in LA, and I believe they opened their first location in 2015. And so when I was opening my space, I actually really drew a lot of inspiration from them, because I love how they incorporate crystals and earth elements and just the minimalism of the boutique to kind of make it feel like you're on a vacation. I loved that. So when I saw that they were opening here, I knew that that was why I moved back and why I was in this space. So
And I love your story because I had a very similar journey with like health issues and ultimately, you know, the biggest struggles that you have in your life end up being the biggest blessings because it puts you down a completely different path. And even just like being more open-minded to things and understanding and just realizing that our bodies have an amazing ability to heal if we give it the right environment. And the environment is so many different things. It's nutrition, it's, you know, massage, and it's, you know, it's taking care of ourselves mentally, physically, all these aspects, and it can heal. You just have to give it the right, you know, give it the right stuff to put into it for it too. And I just don't think there's enough people out there that really share that message. And we think that, we always have to be on medications and always have to have a surgery and all these things. And it's not true.
Yeah, I definitely think it's an education piece. I think what we're taught is that medicine is the only way. And it really just treats the symptom, not the cause. And it's an education piece of being like, okay, I want to research this and figure out like what could be causing this. Because a lot of times it's related to stress, it's related to food, it's related to prioritizing something like work over mental health, like you said. And so I think, you know, it's just what we've been taught, and it's an unlearning of what we've been taught to then educate ourselves on how to heal our bodies, because our bodies have the ability to heal. That's what they do. It's just giving them that opportunity, like you said. Yeah.
And there's just not a lot of, there's not enough in healthcare that's really sharing information like this, which is really sad to me. I think more and more it's coming out, but there's just too much pull with mainstream media, with the drug companies, with the food industry. All these things play into it. But it's nice. I mean, I think there's just more and more. There's definitely more and more information out there now than there was 10 years ago. 15 years ago when I started my journey, like same with you.
Absolutely. Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your place. Like, so, I mean, I can tell you when I came in, my favorite part was like walking into like your place where you get the massage. And not only do you have like, it's like you have all the senses covered because you have the senses like the smell and then the look and then also the sound. Like I loved that the whole ocean sound, like it was so soothing. Like I can't even imagine getting a massage with that kind of, I mean, I think I'd be asleep.
Most people are. Yeah. So the whole aesthetic is supposed to mimic kind of a beach massage. Basically what the creators of the Now wanted when they created it was to provide an oasis in, at that point, LA, and now whatever city that it's in, for people to be able to escape to and fully relax. So we kind of start that, and our location is really special because we have this patio with beautiful basket lights. And so it kind of starts for our location, like on the outside where you're like, oh my gosh, where am I? And then you walk in, it's super minimal. Our offerings are very minimal. We just don't want to overwhelm through too many options, because a lot of places, like if I didn't know anything about massage, I would walk in and be like, I don't know, just tell me. And our front desk is staffed and they're trained to kind of help you figure out what would be the best massage for you, depending on what your goals are. And then you walk into our transition room, which is behind a beautiful big wooden signature door. And we have our crystal grid mirror that was set up at training by our opening team. So every crystal has an intention. And I really believe that that lends itself to the energy in this space, which you can probably speak to from having been here. It's just a really light energy. And that's where you do your consultation, and then you walk into the journey room, and that's like our wow moment. That's where the massages take place. So it's the rooms aren't separated by walls. They're separated by canvas curtains, which, unless you see it, it's kind of hard to explain, but it's a beautiful space. We play the sound of waves overhead. It really does almost feel like you've stepped out of Dallas and into a beach like Tulum or somewhere in Thailand. You know, it just feels like you're in a whole different city. Yeah. And yeah, so that's more about like what the space itself looks like and feels like.
Yeah. So who's your typical client?
Really anyone who needs body maintenance, which is everyone. But anyone who has pain, who is kind of trying to figure out what their body should feel like. I think it's really hard to know or to separate that I have pain here, but that's just how my body is. It doesn't have to be like that. So we have really amazing massage therapists, and we can provide relief from that. And it's kind of amazing to see someone come in just riddled with pain and then come out and feel like we hear often, like, I feel like a brand new person, or I feel like they take on the world. And then also anyone who just wants to relax, truly, like our massage room, the journey room, since it isn't separated by walls, it's almost a more meditative experience because there's not as much talking. A lot of times people want to talk through massage therapy because, again, we're moving that stored tension. And so that can bring up a lot of emotions. And so sometimes people will talk to distract themselves, but here, I mean, you can talk, but the mood and the environment kind of lends itself for a more meditative approach. So it's really mental health and physical health combined, which is a beautiful thing about this space.
Well, I mean, truly being able to like check out, like we just don't,
Yeah.
we don't do that enough. And I think you totally could in that space. I mean, like you said, it is very meditative. I would describe that as well.
Yeah. And a lot of us don't take the time to meditate, myself included. I wish that I did, you know, like I know how beneficial it is, and I wish I would just carve out the time. But being in there and getting the massage, it's like, I don't want to say it's a forced meditation, but kind of like it kind of is, you know, and so it gives.
It's kind of why I do yoga. It's like my forced meditation.
Exactly. Yes. It is similar.
Make me do it.
Right. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
Yeah. Yes.
So tell us a little bit about what clients love about your massage place.
I think what we focus on is the customer experience. And I think that's very different. We truly care that when you come in here, you feel comfortable, you feel taken care of, you feel better after the massage. And that's kind of not found really in a lot of spaces. We, like everyone at the front, like I was mentioning, and myself, we ask the questions of what are you looking to achieve today, so that we can make sure that you're happy with what you're getting. And then I think the aesthetic obviously is also a huge part of what our guests love, because it's something that a lot of people haven't experienced in the city of Dallas. And so that's a huge part. And then I think also the offerings that we have, since it is less, it's easier to kind of absorb the information and for people to understand what they can expect from a massage at the Now.
So what would you say separates you from like other massage places? I mean, I think we've already discussed a lot of it, but
yeah. Aside from the aesthetic, which I think is probably the number one physical thing that separates us, I would say our care, our empathy, our sympathy, our customer experience overall.
I also love the whole beach vibe sound, like the wave sound, like just not, you don't have very many places that put sounds like that in a place.
Yes, absolutely.
I don't know, for me too, like water is so relaxing, like just hearing water, stream water, ocean water. is super relaxing.
Yes. And that goes back to like adding those earth elements into the experience, because also a lot of us don't get outside, especially in Dallas. Like that, let's be honest, there's not a ton to do here outside, but it kind of
my Rock Lake, my favorite place.
true. I'm so used to California, so it's
Oh yeah, I know. Well,
you know, but yeah, so it's like almost bringing the earth to you, and the earth itself is so healing that it's just a really special, it's a special place, special experience.
Yeah. So is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Just, if you need a massage, come see us.
Well, tell us a little bit, like, where are you located? How can people find you?
Yeah, so we're on Lower Greenville, Greenville and Penrose, like kitty corner from Gloria's. I'm sure everyone knows where Gloria's is. If you want to book a massage, you can go to thenowmassage.com/lower-greenville. Or you can just go to thenowmassage.com and search Lower Greenville. And we also have a location at Preston and Forest if you're more North Dallas, and South Lake and Frisco as well. We have an Instagram at The Now Massage, and then a local Facebook page. You can search The Now Massage Lower Greenville.
Awesome. Well, it's so good. I know one of my PTs said she was going to stop by. Like, I don't know if she did or not, because I got sick last week.
Right.
But she was like, oh, I've been looking for a place, and she was excited to go and check the place out. And I think it's definitely a special place.
Yeah, thank you so much.